Hi, Armand here to talk about the September 16th, 2016 lunar eclipse. Before we get started, a couple of orders of business. I keep saying it, but it's still true. I cannot answer your questions and comments. Not like I'm too busy, I can't do that. It's not like that at all. Rather, I'd love to, but if I go to answer your questions and comments, Google and YouTube want me to change the name that I use for the channel and so on, and I'm not going to do that, so I can't. You go to the website, integralastrology.net, send me an email, I'll respond to that. Otherwise, I just read the comments, and things are as they are. I appreciate them. I like them. Once in a while, I'm a little bit annoyed by them, but I do read them. They do matter to me, but I can't answer them. The other thing, of course, is you should go to integralastrology.net and just check things out. There's articles, forecasts, consultations, everything you could possibly want. Well, lots of stuff you could want. Anyway. And then I just want to, and there's also webinars, and there are webinars every month. There's at least one free webinar, and usually a master class. Those $10, you could pay that. Not everything is free, And also, of course, we have to keep in mind that ESAR 2016 is coming up in about a month, in October of 2016. And if you're going there, I'm there. You should see me. Pre-conference workshop, presentation on relationship timing. It's going to be great, so look forward to seeing you there. All right, let's get on to this eclipse, the 2016 September. It's actually the 9/16/16 lunar eclipse. Well, we will begin, oddly, with the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo Todal. Now, in this particular account of the after-death state, the image that we're given is that the soul, the disembodied consciousness, is running around this other plane, the between state, the bardo. And at a certain point in time, visions come up, and these visions are either very energizing, very positive, or very scary. And actually, sometimes even the very positive images are considered to be very scary because they're so awesome. The Bardo reminds us that all of the images that come up are actually from our own consciousness. It's really our own self that is generating all of these things, but we're unlikely to take it that way. And so what happens is that these images become so scary, so overwhelming, that the soul will start to try to find a way to get out of the Bardo, and so chooses incarnation. And then there's a lot of warnings about making sure that you incarnate in a good place, that you make an intelligent choice as to where you are incarnating. What, you say, does this have to do with a lunar eclipse on September 16th of 2016? Well, this lunar eclipse, which happens in the sign of Pisces, rather late in Pisces, is kind of unique because it comes right on the heels of the third Saturn-Neptune square. And as I've been saying all along, I know it's another one of those messages you've been hearing a lot, but because it matters. And the Saturn-Neptune square, very disorienting. Started last November 2015. It really peaked right around the end of May and really through June of 2016. And it just had its last square a week before this eclipse. Now, the Saturn-Neptune square has a rather powerful effect because Neptune has the ability to dissolve Saturnian reality, and so we lose our sense of orientation. And that's kind of what happened over the course of the last year. And you see that in many different ways. A lot of the things that we thought of as being the determinants of things have actually turned out not to be there anymore. Sort of like the letters have slid off the compass, the numbers have slid off the clock face. So that, certainty is a rather rare commodity. You see that in politics, you see that in social things, but you see it in your own life as well. Okay, well, as much as Neptune can dissolve Saturnian reality, Saturn can crystallize Neptunian illusions and dreams and visions. And that is what is happening at this eclipse. Now, it's not happening in 2 minutes on Friday, September 16th. It's happening over the course of time. But this eclipse, it's a lunar eclipse, so it's a full moon, and full moons are always very, very active. They're always charged with energy anyway. In the sign of Pisces, there's obviously a Neptunian theme of illusions. And this eclipse is closely squared by the planet Mars, and Mars incites us to action. Mars incites us to action. So it's kind of like, you're in the midst of things and everything is swirling around and you don't really know what's what. And for a while, like let's say back in May or June, you could hang out and say, okay, well, I don't know what's going on and it's really disorienting and I'm just going to kind of let it go for a little bit. But with Mars in the picture, with Saturn and Neptune having had their last square, and with this eclipse popping up, it's no longer possible to just sort of hang back and say, well, what happens, happens. We'll wait and see. No, rather we're sort of pushed into action. We feel like there's something that has to be done. We have to make a decision. Some way has to be the way to shore, so we might as well start rowing. See, it's a little bit like what's described in the Bardo Total. You're sort of lost and not quite sure and a little frightened, and so something looks good. And so we kind of run towards incarnation. Now, for each of us, it's going to be way different. It could be in our careers, it could be in our relationship, but really, it's not so much about the particular area of life. It's really much more about the underlying sense of reality. The sun is in Virgo, and that's an important message for us, and it's a message that's been resonating for the last couple of years. And the Virgo message is you put yourself in service to something. Maybe the way out is to see something as being more important than you personally, or more important than us collectively. Maybe there's something we can do that would be a contribution, something that we can do that would be helpful, that would be positive. That's an important clue. You got to choose something. Choose something nice. Choose something wise. Choose something. If you can't be wise, be nice. And the Piscean feel of it is one that can bring us to extremes. So we're sort of ready to go. Even without Mars in the picture, which he is, we'd still be sort of pushed forward by this. It's like that Piscean extreme. Pisces is known as being a spiritual sign, but Pisces is all about going beyond, and that includes on the material level. And Pisces do just as well materially as everybody else. So what we're up against now is this time where we feel the need to act, where we are sort of impelled to do something, to choose something, and to really believe in it. The best strategy would be to do something positive, do something productive, do something that you really believe in, do something that your heart is really in. But also, keep in mind that what looks like a very good idea and sort of a sure thing right now, at the end of the day, may not be quite such a sure thing. If you look at the video on the Saturn-Neptune square, which I posted just a couple of days ago, you'll kind of get an idea of what I mean and what I'm talking about, and this whole process of sort of recongealing our reality. The thing to remember around the eclipse of September 2016 is that it is a time when we are choosing, when we are running towards what looks like a reasonable reality for the future. And we have to have as much awareness of what we're doing as we possibly can. Other than that, it's a full moon, it's a Friday night, the moon is in Pisces, Mars is squaring it. It could be a pretty good time, Not everybody is going to feel it as such an intense experience. Some of us are going to get a little rattled by it, but some of us will just sort of float past it. I wish you the best for it, and remember that either way, sooner or later, probably in about 2 weeks when the eclipse energy dies down and we get to the next new moon, things will start to return to normal. But not the same normal.